Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Advocacy. Tonight, we just want to focus on a topic that most people don't even think about, and that's the caregivers. And how do we nurture? I know we talked last week about how do we help and nurture our special needs individuals, but now we're talking about the adults, the caregivers. How do we make our dreams come true? How do we invest in ourselves? And I think that's very important because if we don't invest in ourselves, then we can't invest in anyone else, not just our special needs individuals, but our any member of our family. We can't do a great job. We can't do anything great if we don't invest in ourselves. So I think tonight that's going to be a great conversation we're going to have to discuss that. Of course, with me, we have Bunny and Crystal. Thanks for joining us, ladies. So I will start off by saying that one dream that I did have, or one thing that I felt like I was meant to do, was advocacy. Did I have the time to do it? No. Did I have the opportunities? No. And a lot of it came from I was splitting my time between making sure Jeremy had what he needed and Morgan had what she needed. But that was always something that I wanted to do because I felt like at times, and I've said this several times, I was going through this journey alone, and I felt like, sometimes I needed that encouragement, and a lot of times I didn't reach out and get that encouragement until I was just ready to just fall apart. So some of the things that I really wanted to do was to do this. Anybody that knows me know I don't like talking out in public. I'm one that I can give a lot of advice behind closed doors. I can, encourage you and do a lot of things behind the scenes. But when it comes to being on the front line, that's not something that I really like to do. And I'm still getting used to it. So, but my driving force is definitely making sure that other people don't feel alone. So I will say that's one thing that I wanted to do, is to do that. I always wanted to. Another thing that I wanted to do, and I'm not saying life is over, is I always wanted to be a state representative. Um, because I felt as though we needed more voices um, in our state and
We
federal.
definitely need your voice now. We need your voice
Yes,
right now.
for sure.
Everything that's
Because
going on.
a lot of the times, we don't understand something until we've gone through it. Now, what I have said is a lot of things that I always ask the Lord to help me not to have to go through it firsthand for me to understand it. And I do feel other people's pain. So when they go through things, I kind of take it on as if it's myself. And I think we need more people in our federal government, of course, now, as well as our state representatives, to make sure that people are heard and that we don't have to make have that experience firsthand before we understand it and have the compassion that we need. So that's something I also wanted to do. Those are just some of my dreams. I'm gonna turn it over to the ladies so that they can jump in.
This topic is really good because how do you find time as a caregiver to work on any goals? Because, um, when we are presented with these special babies, we tend to put all of our attention, all of our energy into making sure that they're good. And we kind of put ourselves on the back burners and we become not just moms and grandmothers, aunties and cousins, sisters, we become the caregivers of these amazing children. So it's almost like we have dreams and goals and we want to do things and find time for ourselves, but how do we do that? And I had to learn that, when Grayson was born, we just was like, oh, we about to be grandparents. But the difference is being born with special needs and challenges and the things that, you make these plans when you get certain ages or, when you get ready to retire, you've got goals, you've got things that you want to do and all of those are put on the back burner. So it's it's learning to find time, learning to find that balance so that we can achieve those personal goals, I had to stop and really think about what is it that I want as a mom, a wife, a grandmother, as a friend. What is it that I want? What is it that I desire? Once I got Grayson to a point where he was okay, he was thriving, I had to stop and figure out, what about me? How do I achieve my personal goals? I started writing down some things. I wouldn't say journaling, but I did write down a few things that I want to do. I'm getting up in age. Life is lifing,
Yeah.
and it's lifing at a fast pace. It's like
Mhm.
hyper speed now. So I don't want to have, and I often think about regrets, like
Mm.
I'm missing out on me.
Yes.
I'm missing out on just me having fun, me doing things with my girlfriends, with my sister, with my daughters, and just having fun without the thoughts of being a caregiver. So um, that one is a little challenging for me, because even when I think about my goals and things that I want to do, I often go back to, but Grayson,
I
who's
was
going to
about to ask, but what are some of the things that you want to do, Bunny? I
I
know
want
you.
to travel. Like I could have, throughout all of this, being a remote worker. My kids are grown. Me and Philip, we could travel. I could work. Well, at that time, I could have worked from anywhere. So my desire was to really travel. I wanted to just take off and just travel, go places, walk on the beach. I wanted that time for myself, as well as, me and Philip. But, it's always back to, but Grayson, I want to make sure he's good. So I
Mhm.
think I've got to learn to find balance. Um, so, yeah, this is a good topic. Good topic. Trying to achieve
Yeah.
those goals for us. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I always look at myself, I'm just a caregiver, like making sure that my family is okay. Not
Yeah.
just Grayson, but just my family. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all can agree that being a caregiver is not for the weak.
Mm-mm.
You really have to have a heart for it. You have to
Yes.
have patience,
Yes.
compassion,
Yeah,
empathy. I mean, I just feel like it's and it's selfless. As you're
absolutely.
speaking, Bunny, we're just giving so much of ourselves because we
Mhm.
care for the person, the individual, they're in need. Sometimes it's a kid, it's an adult.
Hmm.
These things happen in life.
Mhm.
And someone needs special attention. And sometimes we might feel like, why not someone else do this? But they may not have the heart that we have to do it. And as you're saying,
Mhm.
Bunny, as a grandparent, you could be at another stage in life, but you have a heart for this, and this is your grandbaby. And so
Yeah.
I did, when I was just thinking on this topic, when Paula was telling us about it, it made me really think heavy on the podcast we had a few weeks ago with Candace, and just
Hmm.
thinking about thinking of ourselves. Though it's very important to prioritize ourselves, our self-care, and it's going to look different for everyone. And one of the things I took away from that was like, just start small. Like, my goals may not be really really great, but starting small. Sometimes it's a day by day thing for me. Like, maybe, today is the day I want to soak in a tub. you
Mhm.
know I mean, I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now. I really have. And when I do, it sounds easy, but my experience would be like, I need all, like, the bath salts, the this, the
Yep.
that, you know.
The
And
whole
so
vibe.
I need the
Mhm.
whole vibe. So it's not like, girl, why haven't you taken a bath? You that's
Mhm.
easy. You run the water, you get in. No, it's a whole vibe for me to do that. And so, because I haven't had a moment, I have all the things, I just haven't had that moment. It's just like, you
Yeah.
know what, girl, hop in the shower because you can get in the bed,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Yep.
But that is my thing, and that is a very small goal. It is an attainable goal,
Mhm.
I can do it. And so now my kids are like on a little mini break. And I mean, honestly, that's what I was thinking about when I saw this topic. Like, oh, I'm gonna get in that tub.
Right.
I'm gonna get in because I know what it's gonna do for me. I know what it does for me. And sometimes I just need that jump in, like when
Mhm.
you're trying to exercise, you be like, I'm gonna do it Monday. And you're like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it next Monday. But once
Hmm.
you finally jump in, like it start getting that momentum going. And that's why I feel like I need right now is to like soon as I have that first encounter and I get in, I'm like, oh, now I could do this. I'm gonna fit it in because it's gonna feel good and I'm gonna want
Yeah.
it again and
Yeah.
again. And so I mean I'm starting small,
Mhm.
for in that aspect of that's just something because I know what it does for me. I
Yeah.
know how it decompresses me. I know how it just makes me feel. My body relaxes. It helps me to have a better night's sleep. I wake up a little bit more refreshed. I don't feel all those aches in my body like I'm feeling like I'm pounding the pavement every day. And
Mhm.
so that is just something that I did set and I want to do. And next time we talk, y'all hold me to it. Like, girl, did you
Right.
did you do it?
It's the truth. But I love the way that we're going back to Candace and what she said,
Mhm.
because a lot of her information, it was just so enlightening to me because um I must say I'm the type of person that, and I said this to her, I feel like if I don't do it, it's not done right. And so
I like that too, Paula.
yeah, and but even when Jeremy was a baby, I remember coming into his room, and my ex-husband had given him a bath, put on his pajamas, and I was like, he got his pajamas on backwards. That's not. But Jeremy was asleep. He was in one piece, and I had to tell myself, is that something that you should wake him up for, because it's not in its perfect state in your mind. But those are things that I really have had to really think about when after we were talking to her, is kind of, I didn't realize it. I don't think I'm OCD, but I think I'm a perfectionist in some ways. But it's like sometimes, is that something that is worth your peace? And you gotta ask yourself that. And even with hubby, it's like, now, it's certain things I do in the house, and Crystal and them know. Washing the clothes is a pet peeve of mine because I love washing my clothes, putting them away, and I just don't like stuff sitting in a basket. There's certain things that I do like, but there's certain things that I had to relinquish to him. And I'm gonna say this: he doesn't do it the way that I do it, but it gets done. And so I've had to learn that even with Morgan, it's because she's getting older. It's certain things that I just don't really like him, don't like bathing her. He will bathe her some days if I'm tired, but like, of course, he can't do her hair. He'll lay out her clothes, and I hope he's not listening, but I'm still a stickler for that, because I'll be like, what'd you lay out? And sometimes I'll go in there and change up the
Why
clothes.
are we like this?
I
Why?
don't know.
But
But I
like
think that's
like
just being a mother, period. I will say that. And then you add on that extra layer, with her being special needs, because she can't vocalize it. I'm always thinking she may be too hot, because the bus can be hot when she get on it. So I'm gonna scale that back.
Yep.
And then I'd be like, I don't want her to wear that white shirt. That white shirt is so white. I'm gonna save that for the weekend when we go out. I'm not, and he'll put it on her like to go to school, and I'll be like, yeah, it's certain clothes on. Like she
yeah,
has
we
for
be
school.
I
Yeah,
mean, we do too much. We
we
Right.
do.
do.
Right.
And the reality is it goes
Or
back to
or or
mhm.
Crystal, they don't do enough of the way we want it
But
done.
we gotta step out the
No, but
way.
no, like I'm saying, like
Yeah,
Candace said, we got
yes,
to unlearn some of those behaviors. And I'm
yeah,
telling you, I know them. And it's just not even, it's just, I felt like I could do it better. But until it weighed on me and it was causing me a whole lot of stress, I
Mhm.
yeah.
had to let that go. I really did.
Mhm.
And it was hard, but I was okay with it. Just for instance, like when I would leave David with the baby, Jael, our first baby, and I would want to step out and go somewhere. I used to feel like I'll take her with me because
Me
every
too.
time I leave
Yeah.
and come back, he had her in a swing. And I felt like she was in this swing for 3 hours, and I thought,
Yeah.
but when I got to kid number two and he did that, I mean, the reality is how much shopping you gonna get done with two little ones? So I
Yeah.
Yeah.
would come back and they were swinging, and I was like, well, they fine, he fine, they okay, they still breathing. Like
They
I had
still
to start
alive.
unlearn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had to start letting some of that stuff go. And it's just like it wasn't harmful. It just wasn't the way I would do it. And I
Mhm.
think it was wearing me out because
Yeah.
then you're wanting a moment to yourself. And even my children, when I'm teaching them how to like clean and do chores, they don't always wash the dishes how I want them washed. But you
Mhm.
know what? I'd be like, hey, you get an A for effort. Girl, put that
Yeah.
up. And when I need it, I'll clean it myself.
Yeah.
Wipe it
It's
out.
just like
Yeah.
it's just because I was wearing myself out. My kids weren't doing the dishes right. I come in there and do them right behind them, and I'm tired. Or
Yeah.
David fold the towels and he done fold them the wrong way. He ain't never seen
Oh,
me fold them
goodness.
that way. But you
Mm.
know what? Who is it hurting? No
Yeah.
one. And it's for I
Mm.
needed some peace in my mind. And I just think that that's that stuff that those are some of the things we talked about with Candace is trying to unlearn those behaviors, certain behaviors that are just so unnecessary and they're impeding on us having a moment to really take care of ourselves, to sit
Yep.
back and make a goal or do something like read a book. Like my
Yes.
daughter laughs at me because she's like, Mom, you keep buying books because one day I'm going to read them. And I
Mhm.
Oh,
envy my kids. They sit around my house and they read books. It's beautiful, but I want to read a book. It's like a luxury to me. I don't have a minute to read a book. Like I remember I used to read a book in a night,
oh,
and I
me.
just think
Yeah.
that I wish I could do that now. It just
Yeah.
Yeah.
it doesn't come as easy as we would like it to, but I want to get there. So that's a
Mhm.
goal. I want
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah.
I reading a book like takes your mind away,
It
and
does.
it's
Mhm.
yeah, and I really want to get back there. So to me, that's an attainable goal. It's just going to take
Yep.
some effort in carving out when kind. So I feel like I could read a book away from my house at a hotel by myself with no one there. Dave's like, hold up, that goal getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Every
that I
time me
think
and hubby go on a trip, I take a book. He out
oh,
there
yeah.
running, playing in the sand, and I tell him all I want is to be left alone. And I read a book every time when we go on a trip, and I finish that book. I love
That's
I
reading.
good.
wish. I
Yeah.
wish.
Mhm. I love
Yeah.
reading. But another thing, I feel like I will say that I I d- I didn't want I never really dreamt about getting married again. I really didn't. But now that I have I always wanted
Mhm.
somebody in here to help, like a like somebody to come in and help with Morgan. So I got the best of both worlds. I got a husband and he helps with Morgan. So
Mhm.
one thing that I've done too, the first time that I went on a trip and he was here with Morgan, I was so worried. But when I came back, everything was intact. Morgan was happy. And I was that's something that I always wanted to do. So if that was a goal to go on a trip with my girlfriends and my
Not have to
sister-in-law
worry. Mhm.
and worry free. When I
Yep.
tell you, I would call and I'd be like, "What y'all doing?" He was like, "Oh yeah, I already bathed her. We ate. Her bag is packed." I'm like, he was like, "Her clothes." He said, "I told you, when you gone, everything is easy." I'm like,
I think that happens with them. When we're gone, the house is quiet, the
"Yeah,
chores are done, clothes is laid out, everything is done. I think we bring a little bit of chaos.
yes, I agree, I agree." And I think it's
Or
because,
Bunny, they bring a deep voice.
hey,
They did.
that
They
too,
did.
because Morgan don't play with him.
Yeah.
She'll play with me, but she won't play with him. But I do think too, another thing, just from a practical standpoint, is having time to spend with my husband.
Yeah.
Something as small as that. There are
Yeah.
times he'll be like, let's just watch a movie. And we'll watch a movie and have a good time together. It was times that It was like, I don't have time to sit down and watch the movie. I gotta clean this house. I gotta pack lunches. I gotta help with homework. I gotta, and so for me, something from a practical standpoint is me being able to sit down,
Yep.
curl up on the couch with a blanket and watch a movie without feeling like I have to do 1,000 things. Because even if you're doing that and your mind is racing, just knowing all the things you got to do, it's still not relaxing. I don't know about y'all. It's still
Yeah.
not a relaxing
No,
experience.
it's not relaxing. And,
Mm-mm.
I think about what Bunny was saying earlier, like if she wants to travel and or she could see herself at this point in her life traveling. I will say this, Bunny, bringing up the kids, and I'm pretty sure just all of us as mothers can say that. There are times that when your children are small, you're in the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that cross my mind, I will hold on to is like, it's not going to be like this always. They're
Always.
not going
Yep.
to always be three. They're not going to always be four. I would just
Mhm.
keep that in me and hold on to it because then it's like live in the moment. It feels chaotic. It's a lot going on, but it's not going to be like this always. And then next thing I know, I had an older kid who could watch the kids. So
Yeah.
David and I could go for a walk. Then
Hmm.
I had a kid in the house. I could go to the grocery store and not have all the tag-alongs.
Yeah.
Then I mean, I started feeling the release at some point
Yes.
too. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, I can actually travel. Thank God I found someone like Paula was saying. It's hard to leave and not have peace. So that's the
Yeah.
only way I
Yep.
can travel is knowing that my home is taken care of. So we was blessed with someone who's able to come into our home and watch our children. And even though I have young adults, I always tell them you're still not a parent. You're
Yeah.
a
Hmm.
sibling. You have
Hmm.
a respect, but I don't expect you to think like how I do. I think they just
Hmm.
be like, oh, they quiet, they good. Next thing you know, somebody done cut the gas on because the burner didn't come on, and they just
Yeah.
they're
Right.
not a parent, they're not a homeowner, they're not a
Yep.
parent, they're just a big sis or a big brother. So we did try it out. We didn't go far and we left one young adult in charge and we said, you did okay. We good. We're not gonna do it again. We didn't say you did bad, but yeah, my heart was fluttering a couple of times. So
Yeah.
it's okay, but we'll always keep an adult in the house
Mhm.
so that you too feel supported, that you don't feel the burden of, I have to do everything. There's an adult here. And so it won't be like that always. There'll be a time like Grayson gonna pick up and go with y'all, and you be like, okay, or Grayson will be in the care of someone, and you can do the things that you saw yourself doing. It's tough because as caregivers, we all have been there. We know you have to adjust. You got to pivot because the day can be unpredictable.
Right.
Because I
Hmm.
remember Bunny, you
And I
was
know.
like, hold up, I got to go give Grayson the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What was it happening? It's like something with the bus, and you said you had to go get Grayson. And,
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure
We
you
just
wasn't expecting that.
no. Those are moments that really stress me out. He's about almost 2 hours away with traffic. So
yeah.
yeah, but I gotta tell y'all about that whole situation too about this bus. That's another conversation. But I think one thing that I know is an achievable goal that I can set as Grayson's caregiver would be on the weekends he's with his dad. So I
Okay.
Oh,
think on the weekends, and we're so tired by that time, we just want to really lay around and not do anything, or it's time to clean up or do something else. But I think I am going to really be intentional about um, setting some type of goal for myself for maybe Saturday morning and maybe Saturday night, something for Philip and myself, so that we can get some. I could get me time, and then we can get some time together while Grayson is away because Monday through Friday is not. I can't see how we can kind of step away, and he's with his mom a
mhm.
couple of days a week, so I think I can.
It's you, Bunny, too.
It's
You,
me. It's
I
me. I
kind
need
of
to
see
language.
you, Bunny.
It's
Some of
me.
it is you. Yeah, you
It's
have
me
to.
because
You
I
have to
think I want to
relinquish.
do everything.
Yeah, you got to stop.
I want to do everything. I want to make sure that Grayson is good all the way around. I want to make sure that, I'm advocating for my other grandkids. I'm just advocating for my children. I need to relinquish some things and let other people take the lead so that I
Hmm.
can fall back. I need to fall back.
And I'm
That's
gonna
what I
say
need.
I had to learn that even with Jeremy.
Yeah.
I was the problem solver even with everything coming up with Jeremy. And there would be things sometimes that come up and I would call him and I'll be like, well, I was thinking, he said, "Ma, I got it." And I would be like, okay. But it taught me how to step back
Yeah.
and let him work out his situations. If
Mhm.
he needs me, he
Yeah,
can
he'll fall.
contact me. But what I was finding myself doing is working out, coming up with a plan for all of his situations. But then I started seeing him doing for himself, and it gave me confidence. I was like, he got this. Here
Yeah.
you are trying to do this, that, and the other. You don't have to do that. He has it. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of the times I was like, I've always wanted just my time to myself. And sometimes I would just want to come home from work and I ain't feel like cooking. I ain't feel like getting no helping with homework. I ain't feel like packing lunch the next day. I would get so jealous of people when they say, "Girl, I came in and went right to bed." I'm like, "You what? You went, you went right to bed? Who did
Mhm.
this?" Oh, and then they had older kids that could
Yeah.
do this and that. Even though Jeremy could do certain things, it's kind of not the same as having a older girl do it. You know what I'm saying? The older girls seem like they on point. Like the guys don't pay attention to detail and this and that. Like if I had the daughter and she was older and she was like a neurotypical, then I would probably feel a little more confident. But I was just like, yeah, no, Jeremy, I would start giving him things, but again, I think that's just in me because, like she said, you see your parents do it. And my mom was like that. My mom was a single parent, and
Mhm.
my mom was touching all the bases. I mean, just every day. It was, oh, yeah, I got that done. I got that done. And it makes me happy now to see my mom get ready to turn 75, and my mom lives her life.
Yes, she does.
She
Yes, she
lives her
does.
life. She lives her life. And that's a goal of mine is to be able to do the things that I want to do. Even sometimes Brown on the spectrum helped me with even Morgan going to the prom. When she said, get out, get in your community because in
Go
my
outside.
yeah, in my mind, I was like, oh no, the music may be too loud. It's too many people, this, that, and in between. But guess what? What I did was I got out and it worked. It
Mhm.
gave me enough energy and a goal to make me know I could get out and do more. So I'm
Absolutely.
happy about that. Yeah. Yeah. So I just think for me, it's like part of it is, us kind of getting some help. I think it starts with getting the help too. And I know with me, one of our topics that we're going to talk about in the future is respite care.
Oh
I know
yeah.
that's something that's like a foreign language these days after the pandemic. It became somewhat a foreign language. I even considered doing an au pair one time just to be able to get somebody in the house to help to lighten the load for me. I just was like, yeah, maybe I could do that. But I'm gonna say for myself, when I went through looking at all the au pair stuff, I was like, that became more of a burden than
Right,
help.
right. Yeah, that's a job.
Yeah, and I mean, they was gone. The way they set it up, they would have been gone most of the time versus helping me. I was like, well, I hired them so that they can help, not be an additional burden.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So those are some of the things, like I say, for me is trying to figure out what things make me happy. And then
Yeah.
sometimes one thing me and hubby would not do is take Morgan to the movie. So we was like, Dag, okay. If we don't get nobody to watch her, we be like, Dag, she can't do the movies. Oh, we stopped that. I was like, you going to the movies tonight? He was like, yep. These are things that we do. We push her further and further because it allows us to be able to do things without always having somebody to go with us. First of all, it's a desensitizing thing. The more we take her, the better she'll be at it. We take her in her stroller. We sit back in the handicap thing. We strap her in her stroller. She flicks off for about a good 10, 15 minutes. After a while, she's holding our hands and she's sitting there. These are some of the things that, again, just us going, he'll say, well, let's just have a Friday night date and we don't have anybody to watch her. We like, well, we're not gonna stop doing what we doing.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not a
good.
challenge, but
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, we're gonna do this.
that's good, Paula, because you're letting people know, even with a kid with different abilities and multiple challenges, you can still go out and do something with those individuals. So that's good to know, because a lot of times when I think about, sometimes Philip will say you want to go somewhere, and if we have Grayson, I'm like, I just don't feel like chasing him. I just don't. He's just too much sometimes, and I don't feel like it, but
Mhm.
I think you're right. The more we push them into
Mhm.
society, into these different environments, then they can cope a little bit better. We
Mhm.
can spend time together as either me and Philip, or as a large family with the rest of my children. We can all get together and have a good time. But I'm really grateful for this topic tonight, because,
Yeah.
like you said, when we talked to Candace a few weeks back, um, talking to her, and now dealing with how can we set goals and, take some time to do things for ourselves. It's just putting so much into perspective, because we do need to take care of us, because just like they say on the airplane, if something was to happen and that mask come
Mhm.
down, put the mask on yourself first so that
Yeah.
you can help others. So I often think about that. If I don't take care of myself first, how can I take care of anybody else?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Another thing that I do is I purpose in my mind to exercise. I think for me, my health is so important. And I've been doing this even when Jeremy was here, when Jeremy was in high school. My logic was, first of all, I need this to so I can keep my weight down and keep as many health issues away from me as possible. And then my other logic was, if I don't take care of myself, it's kind of selfish because what it's saying is I'm opening the door to diseases and all types of illnesses. And then what that does is leave Morgan on Jeremy. And that
Mm.
I just did not think that that was fair. So sometimes when I get tired, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired all the time, but some days I'll be like, I want to lay down. And I said no, because I always go back to, if you keep that going, what that's going to do is allow Jeremy to live. At some point, if something happens to me and he knows, if he had to ever take over Morgan, if something happened to me and hubby, it's not because of something we brought on ourselves.
Right.
I want to make sure that I'm proactive as much as possible about my health. So that's another thing that I make that a goal, working out at least 5 days a week, even if it's just
Oh,
taking a
that's
walk.
good, Paula. 5 days a
Mhm.
week. Where do
That
you
is
find the time?
good.
I'll
Right.
walk. I'll get out. Like when I get off
That's
work at
really
3 o'clock, I get out, I walk. And I'm gonna say this: once it starts, you can't stop it. It's
Hmm.
like I'm addicted. I got my spin bike downstairs, I do Pilates. So it's a lot of the stuff, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. I would love to sit on the couch with the remote in my hand, eating Cheetos. But
good.
for me, it's like I can't be good to for Morgan if I don't do myself well. So I make, and then the one thing I'm not as good on and I'm getting better with is my physicals. But I do go, for like my yearly stuff, but like my physicals, I'm like, when something come up, I'll deal with it. But I even had to stop being proactive with that. But one thing that I do is I've always been like that ever since Jeremy and them were young, is I exercise and I would go for walks, 5 mile walks. I would just do as much as I can just to make sure that I'm keeping my health going, good,
And that's
staying in good
good.
health.
That's good that
It
what
is
motivates
good.
you is that you're thinking about Jeremy,
Yes.
not leaving Morgan on him that you want to take care of yourself. That's a good way to stay motivated.
Jeremy
That
said, I'm
is.
building a healthy addiction. I am. It definitely is a health. It's definitely, I mean, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm addicted. If I don't work out, I feel kind of strange. So I'll be like, okay, hubby, I'm going down on that bike. And I got a purpose in my mind. As soon as I get up, I put on my watch and I'll be like, okay, Peloton, get on that Peloton. And I'll be like, the hardest part for me is starting it. The
Start,
hardest, even though
yeah.
my Peloton is in the basement, I said the hardest part is like a death walk. It's like once you get on it, you're
You
close. When you
good.
start working out, you're closer to your goal of finishing than you are to starting. I make up
Yeah.
everything in my
Absolutely.
mind.
I think
Yeah.
that's so true. And I think I know the benefits of just being active.
Yes.
It keeps your heart pumping, your blood circulating good, you keep you breathing, you know what I mean? And you're doing the best you can to take care of your body. And
Mhm.
I'm a little opposite. I'm that person that if I'm going, once I start, I'm going. But if
Mhm.
there's any kind of breaks, and
Yes.
that's when I was talking about how we adjust, things can come up and it's unpredictable. Um, it's something that throws me off and it's like a week and too many days get in there, I'm really thrown off. Like sometimes it's hard to
Mhm.
get back on that
It
bicycle
is.
again and start riding. And so what for me, my biggest thing is I would rather sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not a sports person, but if David's like, hey, my husband wants me to come sit on the couch, I'll sit on the couch with a blanket and I'm like, these are some Z's. Because, or my kids want me to go to the movies with them. Daniel and Roman, it seems like I'm always the one that's going with them. I'm thinking I just joined the movie club so I can get a free ticket a lot of times because I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
That's what I purpose and I'm just gonna use this. Sometimes I just think I could feel my body just feeling like it just needs a little bit more rest, or I
Yeah.
just want it to decompress. I want to relax, and some of that could be the emotional stress, the burnout, like you were saying, Bunny. That Monday through Friday, I give it my all. I'm like, if I don't get them out the house, they'll be in the house. So I got them in extracurricular activities. They're in events after school. I'm at the school during events during the week. On the weekend, I just want to sleep a little later.
Yeah.
And then it's oh my gosh, I'm with you, Bunny. It's like, okay, I guess I neglected these pile of clothes. I was just on a washing train, but now they need to be folded and they need
Oh,
somewhere to go. It's just that. And then, I'm also feeling now like transitions happen. And in my house size, when everyone's home, the chores I have taught my children, it would go like a well-oiled machine. But people are kind of dispersed now. So I'll be like, why my kitchen not clean? Oh, that person away in college. Oh.
yeah.
And so I'm up here like, well, Daniel's like, well, why I have to do this? I'm thinking, brother, I need somebody to do this new task. I can't take on no more tasks. So,
Mhm.
my new task is teaching him some more things, and
Yeah.
I try to make them simple so he don't seem overwhelmed. But I'm like, can you wipe my calendars down for me, please? And he happy, he'll do that. And then I'm like, can you pick this up, please? Until he be looking at me like, I just cleaned the kitchen. I'm thinking that's the purpose. We getting there. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And so I want to decompress. So every time I think about getting back out there, it's like I'm gonna lay here for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just
I
also
am.
in that moment. I'm trying to give myself what I need, but I
Yeah.
know I need to get back on to being active because that helps my mental as well. When I'm active
Yeah.
mentally, I feel like I can really conquer the day. My mind seems clearer. I'm able to handle more stuff. You don't feel those stresses like they
No.
don't overwhelm me as much. So I know the benefits of being active, but there are times that I do. I mean, I don't have a bag of Cheetos, Paula, but I do. I just want to be on the couch
Be on
Um,
the couch, be in
and
that
don't
bed.
keep talking. Right. I just
yeah.
want a blanket.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
If I don't get it done first thing in the morning, it doesn't. I do my stuff sometime in the evenings, like after I get off. Like I love a beautiful day outside, and I just be looking out the window like a big kid, like, oh, I can't wait to get out there. And what I'll do is just I'll leave and I'll listen to my music. That's my time. Either I listen to my music while I'm walking. And I used to push myself further and further during the pandemic. I was up to 6 miles. And then I would come back, get Morgan on her bike and take her for 2 miles. So it's like I had gotten up to 8 miles. But at the end of the day, I just felt so good. But I ain't gonna lie. I was tired, but it was
Yeah.
all a part of too getting her out because
Yeah.
when we would be going through the neighborhood, everybody was like, all right, now we see y'all. Then they would stop and be like, excuse me, where'd you get that bike from? And then it was like people will always be like, I mean, like when we would go through the neighborhoods, people we didn't even see, they recognized me as the person that walks with the special needs young lady with the bike. Yeah, I mean, we just and I felt good because it was getting her out, and she felt accomplished. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like a twofold thing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
I
telling
enjoy
you,
getting out. I enjoy, we used to go for walks with the family. I really enjoyed that. It does make you feel good. So I'm definitely going to try to factor some of that stuff and even giving Philip a break. Philip does a lot with Grayson as well. So not just me, but I guess the both of us will
yeah,
need to do something, set couple goals and
yeah,
individual
that would
goals.
be
So,
great.
as caregivers, because I'm,
Yes.
takes care of Grayson as well. So I don't want to just, think that I need to jump on a plane to go across the water, which I do, but I would like to bring him along. So there's so much that I can think about doing differently, especially as the weather warms up. I can definitely do things differently. I have some
Yes.
time, but when I get time, I'm tired. So I
Yeah,
try to take that time to clear my brain. It's like my mind never stops. It's
right.
always thinking about what's next. I tell people with a creative brain, it does not stop. So I'm
It
always
doesn't.
thinking about what's next. So
I know. I've
yeah,
even one thing that I committed to, because of course when the day goes on, it's like the way that I like my house kept. I love my house to stay clean. I'm a fanatic about that. And what I had to do was I put it out there to get a cleaning person. I didn't want to do it. I
yeah,
really didn't because I felt like can't nobody clean my house the way I want it clean. It's just certain things that I don't like them doing. Like I don't like them washing my clothes. I don't like them doing my dishes. And she doesn't make beds. And which I didn't care because I like to make up my own bed. I like it made a certain type of way, and I'm really a fanatic about people just touching my sheets and my pillows and all of that type of stuff. But as far as I know, guys, but when I tell you she cleans my bathrooms, I never thought that somebody could clean my bathrooms the way that I like. I mean, and it's something too to come home to and have a clean house. I'm like, that's something off of my plate.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I kept saying, I want to clean a person. I want to clean a person. Then I would get somebody. Then I was like, oh, they're not good enough. Then I was try to find somebody else. Then I said, they ain't good enough. But this person now, I told me, and hubby has purpose. Even if they come once a month,
yeah,
good. It takes the burden off of us as far as having to clean and dust and vacuum and mop the floors. It's a good feeling. These are some of the things that I've learned how to relinquish so that I
Yeah.
can get
yeah,
more free time for myself.
yeah,
Yeah. We do the dishes, and I'm gonna say Morgan is the mess maker in this house and never wants to clean up anything. She doesn't want to clean anything up.
mm,
So sometimes, and she's going through this texture thing, like when she's coming in the house, she likes to pull grass. And when we done just got the house clean, I said, not on my good floors, you not. I said, you can pull up some grass, but you're gonna leave it right out here. So these are some of the things for me that um we factor into our budget that we got to get that cleaning person. That's gonna, it helps us to have time to spend together. And then another thing that we do, we have, me and him try to make sure that we have our date time. It may not happen every
Yeah,
month or whatever, but we even have times that we both love sports. So we'll sit in a bed and just watch the game, or or I'll say, hey, I wanted us to go to this event, and he'd be like, okay, we'll factor in dinner, and just to be able to dress up and go out with each other.
that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And
And that
another thing is
sometimes
just,
that's a task.
oh my goodness, it is,
Yeah.
That's a
but it's
task to get.
rewarding. It's rewarding.
Again, that could be a task. I mean, it is a
Yeah,
rewarding, and I will say, like, spending time, if you have a significant other, that is
yeah,
very important because that
it
is
is.
still part of your self-care, and it's
Yeah,
really good for your relationship. But
yeah,
it is also, I just want to say, it's challenging.
it
Something
is.
like that is very challenging. Again, I'm with Bunny. I just want to lay down. I just want to sit on the bed on my island. I just want
Mm.
to, and I remember David like was out of town, and he's like, Chris, when I come home, we're going out. We're going to a concert, we're doing this, we're going to dinner. And I just felt like I can't do it. Like I had my daughter pep talking me like, Mom, just put this on. Just you can
Yeah.
do it. I was like, I'm
You
so
can do
tired.
it.
Tell him I'll do it next time. She was like, no, Dad wants to go with you. Put it on. I couldn't believe I was being honest. I was so tired. I did not have it in me. And I just felt like to get dressed to the capacity, I didn't have that. I didn't have the bandwidth to like get dressed up. I didn't feel it, but I did my best with what I was feeling. And I
You
didn't
always
feel
look
my
nice too,
best,
Crystal.
but I
I
did
can't
my
even.
best. I did my best. I mean, I felt like these people don't know me, and
Right.
but I looked nice, but I did my best. But then when I got where we went to, Dave was like, somebody complained they was tired and I couldn't keep them in their seat. And I was like, hush, like,
Because
but
once
I
we
mean, I
get
just,
started, we're good. Once we get dressed,
yes.
we get
Yeah.
out, we kind of get motivated and pumped up.
But it's
Yeah.
it's that getting there, and my mindset was like, why tonight? Like, or just I just wanted to decompress. I just really
Mhm.
felt like I needed that extra time. But I mean, I don't want to neglect my relationship. I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. And I think he just last week he was like, Chris, again, when I get back home, I just want you to know we're going out. And I was like, ooh, okay. At least he gave me about 24 hours. Pull it together. I'm telling you, my kids had a snow day, and that's what helped me. Just that helped me
Yes.
pull it together. It's like they had a snow day, and I felt like I didn't have to rush, and then I could take the day. So by the time he arrived home the following day, I had the energy to do that. I mean, I'm trying to get there. They're just, then let's be real, where we are in life as women, life
Yes.
is just
Yep.
changing.
Yep.
So we're just
Yes.
Yep.
dealing with changes of life.
That's
Yep.
right.
And, I mean, it's just, I just want to, I'm always open and honest with my husband. It's not that I don't want to be, so because I don't want it to be seen as rejection. Like I want to go out with you, I really do. I just feel like sometimes emotionally, I'm just a little burnt out, and I just need some
Yeah.
replenishment. But I'm with you, Bunny. If I get out there and I go, then I start
Yeah.
feeling it, and I'm glad I didn't
Yeah.
like sit this one out. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot right now, and it's not. I'm not always there. I'm not always at 100. I'm not.
Yeah. And that's real talk. I mean, like you brought it up, like at a certain age, we start going through a different change in life
That's
as
right.
older women. So that affects so much emotional, mental, everything. It just affects you. And I tell my family, I only go outside on Sundays when I go to church.
Yes.
I just I physically, it's a task to get up, jump in the shower, put clothes on, find clothes, then make sure you look decent, do your hair. It's a lot. It really is a lot. But when you do get up, get yourself pretty, you look in the mirror, you feeling good, you start feeling yourself, you can kind of sit
Yeah,
up a little bit taller, you feel good,
you
put a
do.
little makeup on your face. I went to my niece's wedding Saturday and I put makeup on my face for the first time. She was cute. She was really cute.
I
Oh, I know
know
she
that's right.
was. I
I,
know
she
she
was she
was.
was really cute. But
I know it.
it
It
made
makes
me
you
feel
feel better.
good. Yes, I put that makeup on my face, had a cute little outfit on. I felt good. I really did. I even had a little lip color on. I really felt
Ooh,
good. Yes, I tell you, she was
You
cute. She
fast.
was cute.
see,
I
you
curled her
remind
hair.
yourself that you're still a woman, and that's what I
Yes.
like.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and
that's
I
what
think
it did.
we need
Paula.
that.
That's what it did. It just I stopped and I looked in a mirror and I was like, Bunny, you haven't put makeup on in a while. You look cute. Eyebrows, you look really cute. You should do this more often.
Yeah,
But when I tell y'all I was tired, so it's
yeah,
gotta be something, we work on minds. So I think if we can get it in our minds as women to move, do things differently, then I think that we can move in a different, at least me, I can move in a different direction because I'm often telling myself, I don't feel like it. I'm tired. No, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like finding any clothes. It's too much. I don't feel like it. I'm just going to stay here. So I think if I change my mindset,
yeah.
I can obtain some of these aspirations and goals that I have set, and we can make some things happen. Even if we just go across the bridge somewhere, at least we're going outside. We're getting outside.
Exactly.
I'm getting fixed up. Well, sometimes when we go out, Philip is always like dressed to the cues. I'm like, you doing too much. Like, take that off. I have on regular clothes. Like,
Step it up. No,
no,
you
I'm
step
like,
it up,
I'm like,
Bunny.
I'm like, you doing too much. Like, why do you have that
Uh-uh.
on? So you're right, Paula. I gotta
Step it
step
up.
it up to match
That's
him. But
right. That's
yeah,
what me and
yeah,
hubby do. He be like, "What you wearing?" And I'll be like this. I'll be like, "What you wearing?" I gotta come correct. So it's like either he's setting the tone or I'm setting it. But when we step out, I look at it like when I step out, this is a representation of me,
right,
and
Hmm.
I make sure, especially with us, teleworking and doing
yeah,
teleworking all this time. I don't even really get to wear my clothes. A lot of times I'm
right,
wearing sweats all day. So I look forward to when we go out and we go on a date. I look at it like this is like I'm almost dating him for the first time.
right, right,
And because I have been without a mate for so long, I always told the Lord if I ever got married again, I want to put my best foot forward. And I do that when it's him. And if he ain't gonna be there, you know that Beyonce song, like if you ain't gonna be there, ain't no need for me to put it on. I don't trip. But if my baby is gonna be there, I want him to be proud of having his wife on his arm. So
right,
that's
right,
how I always think about it. And we've gone down to some of the restaurants near his job, and they'll be like, "Man, your wife is beautiful." I'm like, "Represent,
right,
represent."
right,
And even
right.
when I'm going out and he ain't with me and my sister's rule was always make him look twice at you before you go out that door. He be like, "Babe, you looking good. You smelling good." That's what that listen. This your wife, sugar. So I
I'm,
always
I'm-
try to make sure that I
yeah,
always put my best foot forward in everything I do. And for me, the older we get, you know how sometimes I don't know if y'all, but you saw older women back in the day, and they look twice as old as what they were. We
Yeah.
represent the new 50s, and people will be like, "You 50?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." But that don't mean I have to look it, you
look it
know.
right, right.
Right.
I'm gonna get there. I'm getting there. No,
Oh yeah,
I'm getting there.
yeah, and Bunny, Stephanie said you always look amazing, and you do. Girl, you gotta come up with Phil like trying
I
to pull
know, I
you up.
know. He can we can go to the school for a school meeting. This man got on the full suit. I'm like, we just going to the school. He's like, yeah, I'm letting them know. I'm letting them know.
That's
Philip's not
right.
going nowhere. I don't care. He can
I
take
know
his
that's
car to the
right.
shop. That man is put on a suit. I'm like, come on, Philip. We going to the movies. Like, take that off. Take that off. I have on sweats. Why you got on khakis and a polo? Take it off.
My sister and them used to always be like, every time we go somewhere, this girl got on heels. Like back in the day when I was in my 20s. I don't know if you remember, Crystal, I would have my little heels on and my little sundresses. Oh, the summer. When the summer comes, oh, I'm off the chain. I love the summer. Yeah, because I feel like at that time you shedding, and that's another
Yeah,
reason why I try to work out as much as possible because I be trying to get prepared for the summer.
For the
I'm
Okay.
stepping
nice
out.
weather.
I'm
Yeah.
stepping out there. I'm gonna step
Yes.
out.
So Bunny, yeah, you got Bunny. We ain't having this. Mm-mm. And this summer, have you thought about getting Grayson a bike?
He has a bike.
Okay,
Yeah, so that he does have a bike, but we just need to go outside.
that's right.
That's it.
And
We
you
got to
know
go
what?
outside.
That gets him one thing I could say that got Morgan kind of used to being around people because she sometimes I would say, "Come on, let's go out on your bike, girl." She'd go right in that house and slam the door. I'd be like, "Oh, you getting on this bike?
Right.
You are
Yeah.
getting on this bike today."
Yeah.
So
Grayson loves outside. He loves to go. He does.
mhm. Morgan likes riding in the car.
Mm.
But she's a typical teen that wants to be lazy. She wants to just look out the window. And I'm like, nah, today you gotta get some exercise. And when I put on that dress for the night to shine, it was a three
She was
four.
so cute.
She
Girl,
was. It was beautiful.
Yes.
Morgan putting on some weight. So the 3-4 was hugging her. She ain't gonna get too many wears out that dress. So hubby always be like, babe, we got to cut down on her portions. Another thing we got to do is get her back out on that bike. Yeah. Yeah.
She was so
Hmm.
cute. So she had a good time.
She did. And when I tell y'all, her godmother went with me because hubby was out of town. And I guess it's just speaking things into existence. I was like, I don't think she gonna stay all the time, the whole time. When I say she did excellent, when we were coming in, it was a red carpet and the people were clapping as we were
Down the
coming in.
Waldorf. Was it a
No,
Waldorf?
we went to the one in Prince Frederick.
Okay, because they had one in Waldorf. I was gonna volunteer for it. Okay.
Yes, it was so nice. When I say she did so good,
Oh,
and her godmother wasn't there yet, and she was like, "Well, y'all gonna wait in the car with me, for me?" And I said, "Yeah," because I don't know how she's gonna act. We went in there. Morgan did such a good job, but what that showed me was you gotta keep getting her out. You gotta push the
Yes.
limits.
mhm,
Keep
mhm.
pushing it. It's certain things I wouldn't take her to. I've taken her to
Yeah,
the circus and everything. It's certain things I
yeah,
wouldn't take her to, but for me, it's like, nah, we're gonna try this out and see how you like it. And then
yeah.
now I got my partner in crime, my husband, he got one hand, I got the other. We'd be like, yeah, we going.
That's
Yeah.
good. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I just want to say for myself, just closing out, I really enjoyed this conversation. I also want to encourage parents to in addition to setting goals for your special needs individual, also set goals for yourself.
Mhm.
And like Crystal said, it doesn't have to be something miraculous. I know I started off by saying I wanted to be a state or federal representative. It doesn't have to be something that big, and I'm not saying I won't do it. That's a long
Hmm.
term goal. But just set goals for yourself. Start off by saying I want to take a nice bath once a week. I want to just sleep in on Saturday.
Mhm.
Set some goals for yourself that are somewhat realistic. And then
Yeah.
sometimes you can set a goal for yourself and incorporate your special need individual, like I said with us
Yep.
with the movies, getting her used to the movies. It's not something that we have to go to, but why not? Why not expose her to something else? So that's a goal that me and my husband set for us. And we factored Morgan in. So it was kind of a twofold thing. So I would just encourage you to set goals for yourself. Don't stay in that house as the and I forgot the lady that was on our podcast for the brown on the spectrum, but that's
Hmm.
one thing that sticks in my head too is get
Outside.
out into your community, not just you but your child. Get
Mhm.
them out, expose them, get them out in the community. Don't stay cramped up in that house. Get them
Yeah.
out. So that's my closing remarks.
Yeah, I actually love this topic as well. That the whole discussion was definitely needed. It just took me back to, our talk with Candace,
Yes.
talking about, mental awareness. And that means that we've got to be aware of ourselves. So, um, this is just really confirming everything from that podcast to this podcast on how much it is important to get out so that your
Yeah.
community knows you, because you could have neighbors that have never seen you, and then if you've got your special needs child, they need to get out in the community so that they can be known as well. So I appreciate this topic. It's going to give me some ideas on how to get out for myself, doing things for myself. And I'm like you, Crystal. I do want that bath, the bubbles, the candles, all of that, the music, and just to lay there and relax and do nothing. So that's definitely something that I want to do. And then spending more time with myself and Philip, and not and thinking about us more, because my mind is always on Grayson. So I want to think about me and Philip more. It's
I
been
like that.
30 years, so it boy, we could be
Yes.
driving right now. But anyway, I digress.
Well, I'll just say that I just thought from what we discussed that the biggest takeaway is just don't neglect yourself. You
Mhm.
know, it's the how we take care of ourselves, it shows up in how we're going to take care of others. And when being a caregiver is such an important job, and it's essential for the person we're caring for, what their needs are. There needs to be patient. We have to exhibit that. We have to exhibit some compassion, and we have to be flexible. Things could turn at any moment, something unpredictable. Paula has shared on podcasts where she found herself having to take Morgan to urgent care or something like that. It's just anything. You get a call from the school, or, something just may not go as we intended to, and we have to flex. And what I notice when we're caring for people that are in need of our assistance is they kind of feed off of our energy and our vibe. They can feel if you like frustrated
Yeah.
with them. They can
Yeah.
feel if you're being insensitive, if you really don't want to be there. And I think those are some of the things that we would be mindful of if someone was caring for us. And so we want to treat people that way. And so the most important thing that will help us not be that way is that we don't neglect our needs. What helps us mentally, what helps us physically. And it's challenging, but we
Yeah.
can do it, just small
Yeah.
steps and one day at a time.
Yep. I love it.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you for your input. Thanks for this great communication. We thank you, all of our listeners, for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week to discuss another important topic that we feel would be beneficial to everyone. Everyone, have a great weekend. And again, thanks for joining us.
Bye.